Life has a strange way of pulling us apart, scattering us into pieces. Some of those pieces are our mistakes, some are broken dreams, and others are the scars of people who once walked into our lives only to leave us in silence. You know what it feels like. Lying awake at night, remembering where you once stood, recalling the moments when everything seemed clear, only to realize how far you've drifted. That ache, that weight you carry, it is not weakness. It is a sign that something inside you is begging for a new beginning. The Stoics knew this feeling well. They did not deny the storms of life. They stood in the center of them and found power. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." What he meant was not about years passing by, but about our tendency to stay stuck in regret, in sorrow, in the echo of things we cannot change. But what if you could recall who you truly are? What if you could remake your life from the ground up? What if you could repower your spirit and rise again, stronger than the pain that tried to bury you? This journey, recall, remake, and repower, is not about philosophy and books. It's about you. It's about your scars, your silence, your nights of doubt, your mornings where you couldn't even look in the mirror. And it's about reclaiming the strength that life, heartbreak, failure, or betrayal tried to steal from you. In this video, we are going to walk through 5 powerful points that will help you remember who you are, rebuild your foundation, and ignite the power that lies dormant within you. These aren't just steps. They are reflections of the life you've lived, the emotions you've swallowed, and the strength you've hidden. We'll move slowly at first, letting each word sink into you, because these words are not just ideas. They are pieces of you. Then we will build momentum, layer by layer, until you feel that fire inside of you spark again. So as you listen, let these words become more than just sound. Let them turn into vision, into images you can see, into feelings you can touch. Imagine your past as a broken mirror, but imagine yourself picking up those pieces, reshaping them, creating something unshakable out of them. That is the power of recalling, remaking, and repowering your life. And before we begin this journey, I want you to commit something to yourself. Don't just listen, feel this. Don't just watch, absorb this. Stay with me until the very end, because each piece connects to the next, and missing one means losing the chain that will pull you out of where you are right now. Like, comment, and share this video with someone who needs this. Subscribe to the channel, because what we're about to uncover could change the way you see your life forever. And don't skip any part of this video. Every moment is a step toward reclaiming your power. Now let's get into it. Number 1, recall your true self. The first step is recall. Not the easy kind of remembering, but the deep and painful kind, the one that forces you to face the truth of who you once were and who you've allowed yourself to become. Life layers us with masks. The mask of pleasing others, the mask of pretending to be okay, the mask of silence when your soul wants to scream. Slowly, we forget the raw, unpolished version of ourselves, the one that once had dreams, passions, and a fire that burned so bright it scared people. To recall your true self, you have to strip away the noise. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Those words are not just instructions, they are a mirror. Who were you before heartbreak dulled your edges? Before failures convinced you that you weren't enough? Before time numbed your spirit? Close your eyes for a moment. Recall the younger you, the one who wanted more, who believed in more, who fought for more. That person isn't gone. They're buried under years of disappointment, under wounds you never healed. But they're waiting. And recalling them isn't about living in the past. It's about remembering the blueprint of your soul. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it feels like digging through ashes. But in those ashes, there are embers. Embers that can light up again if you dare to remember. This is the foundation of everything. You cannot remake or repower your life if you've forgotten the essence of who you are. Pause. Breathe. Recall not just the pain, but the courage that carried you through it. Recall the strength that survived what should have broken you. Recall that you are not just the sum of your losses. You are the survivor of them. Number 2, remake your foundations. Once you recall who you are, the next step is to remake. This is where the real work begins, because remembering without rebuilding is like finding a map, but never walking the path. Your life is a house, and maybe it has stood through storms, but the cracks are there. Betrayals, failures, and disappointments, they've shaken the walls. Some of you are still trying to live inside a structure that's collapsing, hoping that pretending will keep the roof from falling. But Stoicism teaches us to rebuild, not on illusions, but on what cannot be shaken. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way every setback, every loss, every broken bond. They are not ruins to mourn, they are bricks to rebuild with. The obstacle is not your end, it is your material. So how do you remake your foundation? Start by tearing down the lies you've been telling yourself. I'm not enough. I can't change. It's too late. Those are not truths. They are termites eating at the beams of your house. Remove them. Replace them with discipline, clarity, and courage. Build on values, not on opinions. Build on silence, not on noise. Build on purpose, not on distraction. Think of a sculptor standing before a block of marble. At first it looks like nothing but stone, but with every strike, the image hidden inside begins to emerge. That's you. Every choice, every act of self-control, every step forward. It chips away at what doesn't belong until the life you're meant to live begins to appear. Remaking is not instant. It is day after day, swing after swing, until the cracks turn into strength lines. Until the house you stand in no longer shakes at every storm, but anchors itself in unshakable ground. Don't cling to the old frame of your life. Tear it down and build something that reflects the truth of who you've recalled yourself to be. Number 3, repower your spirit. Once you've recalled and remade, there comes the surge, the repowering. Because memory without fuel is still empty, and rebuilding without energy is still hollow. Repower is about awakening the force within you that life has tried to drain. The Stoics understood power not as control over others, but as mastery over yourself. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. And isn't that the truth? So much of your strength has been bled out, not because you lacked power, but because you were wasting it on people you couldn't change and storms you couldn't stop. That is why you felt drained, not weak, just misdirected. Repowering means shifting the flow back inward. It means fueling your body with discipline, your mind with clarity, and your spirit with resilience. Imagine yourself as a drained battery. You don't throw it away, you recharge it. You plug it into the source. And for you, that source is the unbreakable center inside of you that no one can take away. Repower yourself through silence, moments away from chaos, where your thoughts align again. Repower through discipline. When you rise early, push your body, train your mind, you feed your strength. Repower through gratitude. When you remind yourself of what remains instead of drowning in what was lost. This isn't about fake motivation. It's about tapping into the raw force that already exists in you, the same force that carried you through the worst days of your life. Repower isn't given, it's reclaimed. When your spirit is repowered, you no longer react to life, you respond. You no longer bend under pressure, you rise through it. You no longer ask for strength, you become the source of it. Number 4. Rewrite your story. You've recalled your true self. You've begun remaking your foundations. You've repowered your spirit. Now comes the part that most people fear, the act of rewriting your story. So many live as prisoners of a story that isn't even theirs. A failed relationship defines them. A rejection at work haunts them. A single season of mistakes convinces them their whole life is ruined. But a Stoic knows that the past is not a life sentence. It is simply a chapter, and you, right now, hold the pen. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The same applies to your story. You cannot rewrite the events that happened, but you can rewrite the meaning you give them. The betrayal that once broke, you can become the moment you discovered your strength. The failure that humiliated you can become the fire that pushed you toward mastery. The loneliness that consumed you can become the soil where you grew self-reliance. Visualize this. Your life is a scroll. Words have been written, yes, but the ink isn't sealed forever. With every choice, every perspective shift, you are crossing out lies and writing new truths. What was once, "I was abandoned," you rewrite into, "I learned who truly values me." What was, "I failed," becomes, "I began again, wiser." The power to rewrite is the power to reclaim authorship of your own life. Don't let others dictate the chapters. Don't let pain hold the pen. This is your story, and no matter how dark the past paragraphs are, you decide how the next one begins. So start writing with strength, with resilience, with fire. Number 5. Rise and reignite. The final step is not quiet. It is not gentle. It is violent rebirth. To rise and to reignite is to rip yourself out of the coffin life buried you in and declare, "I'm not finished." Recalling, remaking, repowering and rewriting are nothing but ghosts if you never drag them into reality. This step is the moment you stop whispering change and start living it so loudly the world cannot ignore you. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." That was no polite reminder. It was a challenge. Every storm, every betrayal, every sleepless night, you weren't supposed to stay broken. You were being sharpened. You were being hammered into a weapon. But what's the use of steel if it stays buried in the dirt? What's the use of fire if you never unleash the blaze? To rise means you stop shrinking so others can stay comfortable. It means stepping out from the shadows with every scar exposed, not as weakness, but as proof you endured. Rising is an act of rebellion against everything that ever tried to silence you. It's standing tall when life wanted you crawling. It's saying, "I will not play dead for this world anymore," and reigniting. This is where the fire returns. That passion you thought life had stolen. It's still inside you, flickering beneath the ashes. Maybe it was a dream you buried. Maybe it was a vision you convinced yourself was foolish. But sparks never truly die. They wait for the moment you're ready to breathe life into them again. Reigniting is not about going back. It's about turning that hidden ember into a firestorm that consumes everything in your path. You are the phoenix, not a story, not a symbol. You. Life burned you down, reduced you to ash, left you gasping in the dark. But ashes are not endings, they are beginnings. Your wings were not destroyed, they are being reforged. And when you rise this time, you don't just fly, you tear through the sky with fire dripping from your feathers, leaving a trail of light no one can erase. This is the peak of your journey. You do not rise as the person you once were. You rise as the force pain created, the storm forged in silence, not with whispers, not with apologies, with fire, with thunder, with the undeniable blaze of someone who has remembered, remade, repowered, and rewritten. Now it is time to reignite, and when you do, the world will never forget your fire. Life is not about avoiding pain, it's about transforming it. You've learned to recall your true self, to remake your foundations, to repower your spirit, to rewrite your story, and finally, to rise and reignite with strength. These steps are not distant philosophies, they are lifelines, right here in your hands. The Stoics remind us that fate will test us, but how we respond is always our choice. And your choice right now is to stop living as a shadow of yourself and start living as the fire you were meant to be. So don't walk away from this video unchanged. Let these words live in you. Let them echo in your days, in your silence, in your decisions. Recall, remake, repower, rewrite, rise. This is your new path. And I want you to hold on to one final truth. Nothing and no one has the power to define you but yourself. If this video touched you, like, comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to the channel for more, and remember, this is not just a message, this is a movement.